through life with frivolity. Parties and balls, a life so grand. Little did she know what fate had planned. Arlie, the wandering candlemaker, chosen by Sybil in her destiny's down. Escape from towers of paper to the open road, a reluctant cleric with powers bestowed. From luxury, thrust into robes, surrounded by tomes and dusty old globes. But Ollie's mind, sharp as a tack, mastered the legalese others did lack. Contracts and bylaws, she knew them all. Her litigious prowess made bureaucrats fall. In mazes of paper would she find a way to bend the rules and save the day. A holy symbol in a divine dream. Not all in the tower is as it may seem. A true the tower across the land. But Arlie sees more than meets the eye. All timelines at once, futures that fly. Past, present, future, all intertwined, sometimes leaving the present behind. But Arlie sees more than meets the eye. All timelines at once, futures that fly. Past, present, future, all intertwined, sometimes leaving the present behind. Library cat, shrouded in mystery, follows Audie through every history. With glowing eyes and silent paws, it guards her path without pause. Arlie, the wandering candlemaker, chosen by Sybil in her destiny's down. Escape from towers of paper to the open road, a reluctant cleric with powers bestowed. Cut from luxury, thrust into robes, surrounded by tomes and dusty old globes. But Ollie's mind, sharp as a tack, mastered the legalese others did lack.
Oh, hoist up the sails, let the winds take a breath. For Thaddeus Turnpike commands his ship. A lord of the waves, a sailor so bold, with magical powers and a heart of gold. Behold, Thaddeus sailed the endless sea, with little Boo as wise as can be. Through tempest and tide, they roam far and wide. The Turnpike legacy, their unfading pride. From the mighty Turnpike line he hails, with a lineage of captains braving the gales. A scion of seafarers fierce and grand, with the smell on his lips and the sword in his hand. Behold, Thaddeus, master of the spell, with little Boo through heaven and hell. They dance with the stars, they flirt with the dew. Their laughter echoes in the ocean's blue. For his mate, little Boobo's his name. Together they soar in fortune and fame. With little Boobo, his talents wrapped in light, they summon the winds and the stars to their fight. A curse of great power, a gift or a bane, Thaddeus wields it with little to fame. A rogue with a charm, a sailor with flair, he faces each curse with nary a care. Behold, Thaddeus, the sea's arcane knight, with little Boo in the pale moonlight. Through whispers of magic and the salt-laden air, the Turnpike adventure none can compare. So sing of the Turnpike, the legend, the tale, of Thaddeus and Boo setting sail. For where the map ends, their journeys just start. The sea's in their blood, magic in their heart. So sing of that Turnpike, the legend, the tale, of Thaddeus and Boo setting sail. For where the map ends, their journeys just
lit candle with the tender cleric brave met Elric, a dragonborn far from his cave. To the Clarus Tower they made their way, where ancient books would have their say. A year among the tomes they spent, two worlds colliding, heaven sent. Arlie and Elric, an unlikely pair, building a friendship beyond compare. Arlie's eyes danced through time's threads, while Elrac's scales gleamed among the spreads. She taught him of Kryn's rich history, while he shared tales of draconic mystery. A year among the tomes they spent, two worlds colliding, heaven sent. Arlie and Elric, an unlikely pair, building a friendship beyond compare. Through dusty scrolls and parchments old, civilization stories Arlie told. Of kings and queens and courtly games, Elric learned of politics' dark aims. In quiet corners they'd often sit, debating lore and sharing wit. Arlie's charm and Elric's might, two cultures merging day and night. The dragonborn's eyes opened wide to Kryn's vast world on every side, while Arlie glimpsed with growing awe the honor in the dragon's law. A year among the tomes they spent, two worlds colliding, heaven sent. Arlie and Elric, an unlikely pair, building a friendship beyond compare. Learning came to close, a friendship forged forever chose. Arlie and Elric, once strangers now kin, united by knowledge their journey begins.
Justice
Salamia's fields a halfling stood tall, sea gray eyes a fighter's call. With Fiona's love and Angus' smile, his world was bright for a little while. Oh, Harold Grey with list in hand, a promise made, a journey planned. Each task he'll mark, each dream fulfill. For those he's lost, his heart beats still. From Zakar streets to golden fields, their family loved the greatest shield. They dreamed of wonders near and far, penned on a list beneath the stars. Oh, Harold Grey with list in hand, a promise made, a journey planned. Each task he'll mark, each dream fulfill. For those he's lost, his heart beats still. Young Angus fell on distant shore, while Fiona's kiss would come no more. A drunken noble, a vengeful blade, left Harold's world in darkness laid. But from his grief a purpose born, to honor vows that he had sworn. The list unfolds a final wish, a blade resisted a gutted fish. Now Harold roams through joy and strife, to live for three in one short life. From mountains high to oceans deep, this solemn pledge he vowed to keep. With boulder hat and iron will, he faces each task with hard-won skill. For every deed he sees it through, he feels their love forever true. And when the final task is done, when every battle's lost and won, he'll close his eyes, his duty clear, knowing his loved ones drawing near. In afterlife they'll meet again, their love eternal, free from pain. The list.
Hello! Hello and welcome! We are live! Welcome back to You Are Legion. It's been a minute. The D&D game where you, the audience, can join in and be part of the story as the voices inside one of the party members. Because in this game, you are Legion. My name is Coy. I'm going to be your game master today, and I'm joined by a smattering of our regular cast Monday crew, as we've been dubbed the Monday crew, because there is now a Wednesday crew, guys. Legion is expanding. There's a LCU, the Legion Cinematic Universe. It's growing. It's real. Get used to it. We have about 10 good years, and then it's going to have a steep fall off. But by then we should have already sold to like a major company like Disney or Amazon. So we got some time ahead of us. Today, we are looking at...
confirmed to me that I've been recast for the Herald one-shots. They found someone younger and shorter than me. They didn't think it was appropriate for a 6-foot-tall man to play a halfling anymore. Now they're getting serious. So be on the lookout for that.
We're getting progressive, yeah. But also, like, we'll add a little, like, moment in the game where someone's like, "You've changed, Harold," and everyone will be like, "Oh, it's meta, therefore it works." I'm going to start at the top of my screen. Claire Hogan, welcome back, playing the Kender Cleric of Knowledge, Arlie Candlewick, the Thoid. And also, who was just talking? Our super tall halfling with a list, Harold Grey, played by Michael Keane, directly below Claire. Welcome, welcome, Michael. He usually does a little bit of Warhammer painting just off camera. Maybe he'll share something at one point, maybe just before we go on a break or something. And after quite a bit of a hiatus, I am so happy to have Sam Gilroy back, playing as the noble pirate wizard, Thaddeus Turnpike. The only way that would be cooler is if you were you're already a pirate. Maybe if you were a noble pirate wizard ninja? I don't know. You're like already right up there on like the list of coolest possible nouns. Sean Boyd will not be joining us tonight. He's busy directing a show for UNV in Las Vegas, so like NBD, guys. But he will return as Elric Tiamaticus very soon. And joining us to assume direct control of the Legion construct is Kevin the Fight Guy. Welcome, Kevin. Thanks for joining us. Very excited to have you on.
Hi, Kevin.
Very excited to be here. I've been watching for a while, and I'm looking forward to assuming control.
Excellent. Yes. I know Kevin from back in the day in Toronto in the fight community. We just had a little brief meeting backstage, I guess, as we're off camera. So I love when our guests get to meet our players and vice versa in game. It's very exciting and fun. We are coming back from a bit of a break. We took October off. It was too spooky to play. So let me remind everyone where we are. This is going to be a bit of a doozy, and we will have a Q&A afterwards. Also on the chat. Feel free to ask questions or add what we've forgotten. The party met the Legion construct as it was trying to be stolen by an undead knight, a servant of Takesis, the goddess of dragons. They thwarted the robbery, but the Death Knight was able to rend one glowing crystal from its face before escaping. Since then, the party has taken literal political legitimate control of the city of Calaman. They have traveled north into the wastelands that were too close to the center of the cataclysm hundreds of years ago. They brought with them 200 soldiers and horses. The party met some elven refugees and wizards in the northern wastes. There they also encountered a death dragon. Thad died. They went to the Feywilds. Thad came back to life. They met an aristocratic bear, a kitten king, a good boy, and a shitty druid, and a debonair rat, and spanked an aboleth. And may have sparked a democratic revolution. They then went back and... Everyone knows who Dilk is. He's got his spot. They then went back and encountered the Death Dragon again, and Aelric stood his ground, and it transformed into a Dragonborn. And the party forged an empty soul crystal, and the dragon was gone. Where is that soul crystal now, by the way? Does anyone know where that is? Who holds it? Is Thad holding it? Gotcha. Cool. And then there was an awesome party, and Dionysus freaked out, and Legion shut down, and the party attacked an entire mounted squadron of Dragon Army soldiers head on, and Bubo got captured. And they couldn't follow because a fucking airship filled with soldiers flew over a fjord and forced the party to retreat back to their beachhead. Yeah? Back at camp, they restarted Legion into boot mode. Shouts out to Martin Boersma. Which identified a pungent fey odor on the party. They traveled to a nearby wandering Shadowfell rift to stabilize the fey touch and destroy the rift, which they did with the eruption of a gnomish infusion of godly energy into a simple light effect artifact. In the light, the new light, the party saw and traveled to a nearby relic, an ancient pre-cataclysm structure, an arcane reactor, capable of near limitless power, stalled in mid-explosion. The party went to investigate. The party was intercepted by Knight Becklin of Solamnia, not dead from the defense of Vogler after all, and her new squad of 5 Celestial War-era battle constructs. Becklin said that she was there to secure Thad, so that she might resolve the political quagmire the government of Solamnia had been thrown into, what with the looming war and Thaddeus Turnpike's declaration over Calaman. Not easily persuadable, but a fair soldier and old friend, Becklin agreed to aid the party in trying to repair the arcane reactor. Repairing the reactor they did, and immediately on doing so, Becklin grabbed hold of Thaddeus, who was thrown a stack of elegantly bound notes outlining negotiation positions, defensive strategies, and demands from Arlie, and Thad and Becklin disappeared into a flash of old magic. Thad did not really get a chance to meet the construct he helped release. Rosemary Leaf, it calls itself. Harold activated the following power nodes in the repaired reactor core. Safely venting the radical arcana, freeing Rosemary Leaf, preventing a resonance cascade, rerouting power to the gates, rerouting power to the Fortress Isle, and choosing not to reroute power to the Forge or the Crucible. A decision was made to create a new base of operations located at the Arcane Reactor. It will take at least a full day for forces to arrive, and that would require them to press all day and night without rest. In the meantime, you feel safe having 5 autonomous war machines providing constant surveillance and overwatch, although it should be noted you have been warned against wielding unsanctioned magic around these robots. Legion once again fell silent after Inpu imbued a gift to Harold, a talisman that could let Harold see beyond the veil. Shout out to the Wednesday crew, where Inpu told him Fiona was beside him still. And so, do we have any questions, addendums, comments?
We also activated a portal network, right? And we have marked on the map all of the available portal nodes in the wasteland available to us as information.
Yes, I'm going to activate your strategic map so that everyone can see. And this is where you can see, you can scroll in a little bit. I'm just going to scroll in a little bit for the chat. The gates that was the power that Harold rerouted was to those teleportation circles, those massive circles. So that's what was listed as gates. Yes.
Got it. Okay.
Any other questions or comments? Obviously, we can, like, this is our first day back. There's going to be a lot of opportunity to talk in character, out of character, but now I wanted to just give like a upfront anything we're missing specifically.
And we're currently in the ancient fortress. Or what's our direct location right now on this map? Oh, there. Got it.
Yeah.
See it.
I can't remember. Like, I remember Rosemary Leaf, and I remember. I just can't remember if we had a unified sense of what to do next. I don't remember if we had that.
Very good point. Yes, I think that's something that I did not explicitly say. So at Arlie was able to reactivate a elevator and carry herself and Aelric and Inpu, the aspect of Inpu Legion, played by Eric Fournier, up to the top level and a broken like opening of this old city, and they were able to look out at a rift in the center of the northern wastelands. They were able to ascertain through some good rolls and arcane knowledge that what they were looking at was the source of these wandering Shadowfell rifts. They were coming from this central place, this kind of opening where the Shadowfell was kind of bleeding into our world. That location, they also were able to cross-reference as being the ancient location of the Arcane Forge itself. So there seems to be some sort of connection between those two things, and they very clearly now have not only the ability to power up the forge, if and so when they choose to, from this arcane reactor they're creating as their base, but the party also knows where to go to find the arcane forge, which is in the center of this shadow space.
I remember looking out at the horizon, seeing the sort of, like, it looked like a that circle, like a semicircle on the, like a black hole. And we decided that was probably where the forge was, and then we rushed down to tell Harold. And then there was something, the building also that we were in, there was like some urgency around it being unstable, but then we like kept hanging out in it for quite a while.
You solved it actually.
Oh, we solved it. That's why.
That's why everyone's kind of got chill about it. It was like, so what happened, like now that it's been solved, what happened was that the Arcane Forge survived the Cataclysm seemingly. But over an unknown period of years, it started falling apart as the gnomes who were trying to keep it running ran out of spare parts and scavenged other things from the surrounding area. And eventually, it began catastrophic failure and was about to explode. But then Rosemary Leaf showed up from somewhere and, using magic, put the explosion into a stasis effect. And for the last unknown hundreds of years, he's been actively preventing this reactor from exploding. So with Thad and Harold... sorry?
Yeah, Rosemary she is...
my bad.
The contract still... Yeah.
No, my bad. Yeah, my bad. I gendered Rosemary. My bad. She was stopping this explosion, and Harold, working with Thad, or I should say Thad with the help of Harold, were able to fix, like, get in and provide additional support while Rosemary was doing this. And the three of them were able to stop the explosion, vent the arcane energies that were already released, seal the reactor, and get it working again. Yeah. Is that... Are we feeling fairly good? Are we feeling sort of okay-ish? Cool.
Yeah, I
Have
still don't
we-
know if the players have a unified sense of what to do, but not the players, the characters.
No, I think the characters have a clear sense that that black space that you're seeing on your screen is where the Arcane Forge is. The Arcane Forge is where you can repair or destroy Legion. And so you have a very clear sense of, like, X on the map. That's the next place to go. You're
Thad
looking
doesn't
like...
know-
Thad?
Thad doesn't know any of that, though. I left right at the end of the fight. All right.
And so...
Really?
Oh, you're...
Continue.
There will be opportunity in when Thad comes back. But speaking of Thad disappearing, Thaddeus.
Yeah.
Hand-stitched booklet of legal notes in your hands. You are transported without taking a step. I have a question for you about Thad. Has Thad ever been to the capital city of Solamnia?
No.
Okay. You arrive in grand halls, made by mortal hands, mostly dwarvish and elvish, let's be honest, for the stone and woodwork. But the gnomish things are everywhere. Simple, complex, big, small. Even this small entrance chamber. Teleportation runes. Becklin is with you, in powered, interlocking plate armor, looking like preposterous death. She removes her helmet in these halls, which distorts even more the ratio between her size and the outer form of this powered armor. She turns to look down at you. You particularly remember that you are taller than this woman on bare sand. She is a towering example of the force which unified Solamnia, and for you, Thaddeus, a stark reminder of the power your ancestors withstood to maintain their freedom. Becklin logs in to the attendant page. Becklin Uthviharan, Captain Omega Legion. She takes you in, making sure you won't get sick. Teleportation can often do this to people. Then heaves away. Let's go. Not so fast, child. Hello, Thad, dear. I'll just be a moment. Thank you, Captain, for your service. I mean not to interfere or impede, and indeed plan to be as brief as thought, but I am here to exact a bound contract requiring Thad execute the final trial of initiation into the Tower of Sorcery as soon as he return or succeed in his quest in the Wastelands. Now, Thad, child, I need to tell you something.
Yeah. Yes.
She reaches out, and this is Wyhan, of course. She reaches out and pulls you not through time, but through memory. You are looking now at yourself through a mirror, and you see a younger Wyhan staring back at you. She seems to be waiting for something. Behind you in the reflection is the Wyhan you know, standing against the wall of this palatial, what seems like roll a perception check.
Six.
6. It's a fancy place with lots of stuff. Lots of similar things. Some sort of collection.
If I throw up from the teleportation and suddenly getting sucked into a memory vortex, am I throwing up within this experience, or do I feel myself like wretch somewhere else?
It's a great question. I think any nausea that you felt on arriving in the capital city of Salamia has stayed with that body. And you are now feeling a very different sense of disembodiment looking through young Wyhan's eyes. Free of the nausea, at least, for the moment.
Yeah, my body throws up.
Body throws up. The old Wyhan looks at you through the mirror and says this. I'm afraid I cannot offer you much advice, this being a formal examination enforced by magic and tradition. All I can say is choose wisely. A flurry of hand motions catches your eye from young Wyhan. Give me another perception check. Or you can choose Arcana.
Oh, I'm going with Arcana then. Yeah, that's a 21.
21. You recognize that she is preparing to cast a complex arcane teleportation spell. And in the mirror, you can see on the ground the runes already laid out. You, young Wyhan, stand and move to the windows. You see a large city, and you can give me a history check.
That's a 20. Dirty 20, but 20.
Dirty 20. With a dirty 20, you recognize, at first it's just this dense, urban, gnomish city. The type of city that doesn't really exist anymore. And so you immediately go into, well, what am I looking at? Wyhan's young, I don't know. And quickly you're able to identify a couple of key standout structures. You're looking at Forge City, the city that has grown around the Arcane Forge, the central seat of government of what was the coalition of mortal races during the Celestial War.
So Wyhan's
An ancient robed librarian enters the room. You recognize this librarian as having high status, and with his robes realize that you are in some sort of a library. So the things that you saw on the walls, while not books, must contain knowledge. And then a white flash blinds your vision. You cast a reactive shield spell, and so are not affected by the glass shattering and the wave of force that reaches the building, but you can feel the building shift underneath. You are moments away from finishing the casting of this teleportation spell. You give me a intelligence check.
The flat
DC
in?
10. Flat.
Oh,
DC
wait.
10.
I'm sorry, I hit wrong thing. 12.
12. With a 12, you know you have to get out of here, and you have to get out of here fast. You have enough time to take something with you. That could be one of the tomes or archives in the wall. That could be the archive that had been placed next to the mirror that you were sitting at before. It could also possibly be the librarian, or you could choose to leave without anything.
What's the second option again?
There's like a walls filled with like archives, like
Yeah.
like they're not books, but they must contain something. There's a single one of those that has been placed on the kind of table next to the mirror where you first came to in Wyhan's body. And then there's the librarian standing by this door.
Gosh. And is this Thad choosing via Wyhan?
So this is Thad choosing. This is Thad choosing to be very clear and meta here. You are taking the final examination to enter the Sorcerer's Tower. Each examination, they're magical examinations. They differ depending on who your mentor is and what the conditions are. Wyhan has chosen this moment.
But it's Wyhan. What would Wyhan?
Is he embodied in young Wyhan right now?
Yeah.
He is.
Yeah, okay.
But at this moment, he feels a capacity to make a choice which may or may not have happened in real life.
So
what she has done is she has placed you into a position that she experienced in her life. But you are now existing for this brief moment with agency.
Do I have any sense memory of any of these three things being more important to me, like in the seconds? Do from the situation was I in, like, no?
What you can do
is
is you can roll a wisdom check. I will say a 10, then a 15, then a 20. Each one will give you more information about one more thing, because there's 3 different things. So you tell me, before you roll, you tell me what thing you want to know the most about. Or you can roll and then tell me.
About the archives, the non-magical day-to-day if I'm in the Forge town right now. Nope. That's a 3. It doesn't even matter.
With a 3? Okay, with a 3, all you know is that there's a lot of condensed knowledge in multiple tomes on a wall, like a bookshelf. There's a specific tome that's been chosen by Wyhan, and there's a librarian who seems to be quite senior.
And the librarian's gonna die if I don't grab the librarian, right? Grabbing one of the 2 non-things is definitely going to kill this librarian.
Yeah, probably most people who were near what you witnessed with that white light is most likely, it's very fair to guess, that this was the spark of what is now known as the Cataclysm. This is all existing within milliseconds. So not only would the person die, probably all the archives will be destroyed as well.
I think I oh God, what a dilemma for Thad. I so want to grab the dude on every level, but I feel like grabbing the archive. I'm not even concerned with the magical text. Harold, any help?
Well, what I will point out to you, Sam, as someone who also occasionally tells stories, that there are 3 different kinds of magic. It seems like you have 3 options ahead of you. You haven't been equipped to know which is the right one. But I somehow doubt that Koi would set you up your entire arc. I think you should go with your character. Or I could be wrong.
He takes one look at the archive, grabs the librarian, and finishes the incantation. But he's like staring as he's clutching the librarian. He's just like looking at the archive material as he finishes it up.
Amazing. You grab you kind of looking through this blinding light, grab this hooded librarian. This is all taking place within a breath. Pull him within the teleportation circle, finish the spell, and once again, bodiless in a non-space. And you hear a voice behind you. Wyhan. Interesting choice, that is. Now the final question. Why him?
That was the moment of the cataclysm.
Yes.
And he was somebody that intimately knew the inner workings of the forge and how it operated. He probably holistically would have been able to see and explain and preserve more than any snatch or slice of detailed information I could get. And I also am not of the black robe like you and did not want to see a man die.
Well, there were many who died who you didn't see. But I am glad you didn't give some sort of response like all lives are equal and valuable. Yes, very practical choice. And she reaches out and touches you. And you're back in your nauseous body. The smell of vomit in your mouth. Wyhan turns to Knight Becklin, says, "That was all, see?" And gives a little tap that on your shoulder and a snap, and prestidigitation cleans up your robe, and it is converted into a bright crimson red graduate robe.
Well,
I don't want to keep you. I believe you do have something the two of you are supposed to attend to. This is outside my bounds as a mere wizard. I don't get into politics. Very good, Thad. See you shortly. And Wyhan turns and...
You know so much more than what you...
She walks one direction. Becklin says, "We go this way," and turns in the opposite and lumbers forward.
I follow Declan. Yeah.
Declan. Incredible.
Declan.
Amazing. Thank you. Harold. What do you do in... You have a good solid... You have an evening and potentially most of the next day while waiting for reinforcements to arrive. What does Harold do?
Harold, what was the object that Harold was gifted again? What was it? It was a necklace?
I think it was Fiona's necklace, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, Harold sits in the sand outside the temple structure thing that they're in. By himself in front of a campfire, sort of makes in the sand. And sits and stares at the fire for a very long time. Then sighs and goes inside to speak with Rosemary.
Amazing. You find Rosemary in the reactor. They've plugged themselves into one of the gnomish interface panels, and its eyes are dark. it's almost as if an in-breath is taken, but you realize that this is a representation for breathing creatures to understand that consciousness has come back into the present moment. The large construct does a slight move. Its eyes glow to indicate that it is seeing, and it turns to look down at you. Yes. Harold, yes?
I have a question for you.
Yes. I can try to
Are
answer.
you alive?
Am I alive? This is a good question, Harold. It is one I have struggled with. Before the war, there were many of your people who believed that life was tied to the soul. I cannot prove that I have one of these. By all other indicators, I do believe that I am alive.
You dream.
I don't sleep. I hope.
You think.
Yes.
What do you want?
When there was war, I wanted peace.
Thank you.
You are welcome.
Harold leaves the room
Mhm.
and finds one of the Knights of Salamnia.
Give me just one of those robots.
Yep.
Cool. Just the first one you find?
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, you find one that's actually like stationed up in the arcane reactor. The rest of them seem to have gone somewhere else, but this one is standing very much in view of the most important space and one of potentially the most radical entities, being Rosemary Leaf.
Can you talk?
It doesn't respond.
Can you hear me?
It doesn't respond.
I want to know if you're alive.
It turns and looks at you out of standing at attention. And it drops to a knee in the same way that Aelric often does with you or Arlie. Closer to your height, still looking down. It emits a synthesized collection and symphony of artificial sounds which come together to resemble a voice. This voice says, I am sworn to protect life.
Thank you.
It nods. I only heard thank you, by the way.
Oh, he said that's not an answer. Thank you.
Oh, yeah. It nods, gets back up onto its feet, and resumes a waiting position.
Harold, I need to remind just our viewers, Harold still
Please.
looks absolutely demented right now.
Yeah.
All of his clothes were shredded in an explosion. He hasn't bothered to cast Prestidigitator. what prestidigitation?
Digitation. Yeah. Yeah.
Fucking Dijax.
Yeah. Why did they have to?
Yeah. So he's not only like wearing a shirt over the tattered remains of his armor. Like it looks like a long night robe, but has been crawling around at the guts of this altar, and so it's covered in grease and soot and like, you know.
Come to LA, have some laughs.
Yeah, and Harold goes to look for source of water.
Amazing.
It is fun.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep us moving a little bit. So you are able to find water. You're able to clean yourself up in a mundane, and I say that to mean non-arcane manner. The night passes.
That was the intent.
Wonderful. And in the morning, it is mostly uneventful until at around midday. A contingent of over 100 soldiers and horses and ammunition carts and supply carts come into this space, and they begin unpacking and setting up camp. It is around this time, just shortly after the carts aren't even unloaded, when runners come for Arlie, Aelric, and Harold, each of them calling you to a conference. You find yourselves in the same room with Darrett, who is the leader of this contingent when you are you're leading it yourselves, and also the gnome, the lead gnome, who has been staying mainly on the Ethereal Dread on that ship, as well as Jelzuel, who is the mage leader of those elven refugees. All the senior people that you have met. You stand together around another version of the same strategic war map that you all have. As you all arrive, it is Jelzuel who takes voice as most senior in this group. Thank you for coming. I apologize for our late arrival. We marched all night. As you can see laid out here in front of you, we have some decisions to make. It seems over the evening the airship to our north has begun its movement south. We can confirm that it has loaded up most of its forces. Though we are as yet unable to ascertain the exact direction that it is traveling. Ali, this seems to be a manner of politics, seeing as there are many of us with different backgrounds and needs, and I know that our official leader, Aelric, dislikes politics. Perchance you might guide us in navigating how to arrive at our next decision.
I'm sorry, I don't know. I need a context.
Please do.
I have fully just been chatting with Alberta, but I thought I was listening, and in this moment, I am aware that.
Pop quiz. Amazing. That's so great. What can I provide you with? What can we get you set up with?
Oh, I'm so sorry. I have one job. Yeah, we're all together at the. Have we left the tower spot?
No, you're
We've
still at this.
reunited with-
You're still at this reactor, this arcane reactor.
We're still at the reactor, and
Yeah.
these are the people that have been waiting outside the reactor. That flew
So-
down.
Yeah, so like all of your forces, basically, like all of all your forces from the ships. They landed back in Wrecker's Edge, and they've all marched all night to arrive and reach you. So what was decided?
Context, real quick.
Mhm.
We made the call last time that because this temple is essentially the keys to the car for the forge, that it is the most important military asset there is. Because if you control the power plant to the forge, you can turn the forge on. And so there's no point in being at the Ethereal Dread. The enemy takes this patient, they can turn on the forge and they can release Takesis. This is the most important place we know of so far in the whole area. So we sent a message to them that, like, you need to get everyone now. And what Jelzuel was saying was the airship is on the move. It looks like it's headed south, headed towards us. So we could be, marching towards a confrontation there.
Okay.
We are no longer willing to just retreat. Like, we have to hold this ground or figure out a way, some other solution.
And the airship, does that refer to the thing that kidnapped Bubo? Does the airship refer to...
Yeah.
That was where Bubo... So that was like the thing that prevented you from following and rescuing Bubo. Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. It's like a big steampunky Zeppelin, war Zeppelin kind of thing.
And we've fought it before, and we're clear that it's enemy.
You've never fought it. It definitely is enemy. And when you saw it flying towards you after about 100 or 200 troops had walked into it, you saw these forces walking in, and then it took off and went across this large fjord towards you, and that's when you all ran away from it. And it has been staying for a few days over the place where you encountered the dragon where Thad died. So that's where it's been. You had the elven ship nearby watching to make sure it was just keeping an eye on it, and it seems like over the night it has disembarked from that spot and is now traveling south.
Okay, and I can't remember her name. Who's talking to us?
Jelzuel is the old leader of the elven refugees,
Gotcha.
a wizard.
I remember those. Okay, and she is asking us what, and is she in charge? She's in charge of the refugees. Okay, and then Arlie's expertise is being called on to do to.
Your expertise is being called on because you have a Duke of the Hinterland in Aelric. You have your party, who are heroes of yore. You have Aelric is officially the leader of these forces. Aelric is.
What? I can't do it, Koi. What forces? I don't.
You have
just
200 soldiers. 200 soldiers arrived an hour ago.
Oh my god! Did we call them? Are they?
Yes. Yeah. We again, because we're concerned, this site turns the forge on, which means that Big Bad can release if they have the forge on. We called the army that we came with and we said, hey, you all need to come here now. This is where we need to defend this with all of our resources. They're here. They've arrived.
They're here. They've arrived. So they're just kind of now what?
Yeah, literally, as the foot soldiers are unloading carts to set up a defensive position, the leadership has convened a meeting to be all right, the soldiers are getting set up. That's cool. But we need to talk about what's next. There's a lot of stuff that we don't know what's going on. We were told to get here ASAP. We got here. We marched all night. People haven't slept. Okay. Now what do we do? And the biggest thing that we also just learned on arriving is that this airship is moving that is a potential threat. but we're not exactly sure where it's going. But it's either going towards us or close to us. And if it's not going to us, we don't know where it's going.
I'm trying to remember if in the last game, just because I don't think that I don't think Keen or Sam were here. So I feel like Harley went on and on about like what's our plan when we get there. Only like Claire can't remember it, and the the other players weren't there. But it was like this in-depth like discussion about once we get there, are we destroying Legion? And like Legion explained why that would be a very bad idea. And so we were like, okay, so we're actually fixing Legion. It seems like that's what I remember.
Yeah. So what you're describing is definitely. The place doesn't change, right? If you see on your map, there is something called a dark place, I believe.
Yeah.
The dark place is where you think the Arcane Forge is. It's also the center of this like Shadowfell breach. You have to take Legion back there if you want to put the stolen gem of the Dragon Queen back into Legion.
Right.
Now, also the same location could destroy any of those soul crystals and Legion entirely.
Yeah.
It could make or unmake Legion. So you're right. There was a big discussion that began to be asked, which was, okay, we know where we're going now. Great. But now it actually begs the question of what exactly do we want to do when we get there, which is still unclear for sure. And not every player has the same, not every character has expressed what they want to do. Everyone is moving in the same direction to get Legion to this dark place. Once there, Legion could be reassembled and all the gods contained again, or Legion could be destroyed and all the gods released, or pick and choose. Those are probably like the three main options.
Well, I truly don't know. I mean, I'm happy to roll for Arlie to like gain some kind of insight, or I can just talk to.
That's awesome.
Like,
I think
I like in character or not, but like I as Claire do not have a creative sense of like, oh, the army that's on the ground should definitely walk to under the airship, or like should definitely go to the darkness. Like
that's all good. Unfortunately, Aelric was in my notes as answering this question, but son of a bitch is busy doing cool stuff in Vegas. So what we're gonna do, we are gonna come and do a specific Arlie thing in a moment that you will be very comfortable doing. Aelric does step up and he says, "How do we know where this airship is going? This could be a problem." And the gnome, of course, answers. He says, "There is no problem to defend this place. I have spent many of the nights perfecting the Thaddeus, it is very good to see." Oh, no, Thad's not here. You're just in my screen. Perfecting the very nice thing that Thaddeus helped me to test. It is a self-flying explosive device about the size of a small ogre. One or two of these things, I believe, will make the airship go away very easy. Now, of course, it must get close enough, but if it are to, say, get within 3 miles, I think we solve the problem without you. We don't need. Jelzuel says, "Thank you, yes, Adelpho, yes, thank you. The concern is whether you stay with us to defend this location or trust the gnomes. Or, of course, we do have some word from the local teleportation node, which seemed to have come alive. We sent our... who's her name? Cudgel, our dwarven mercenary, and her troops there to make sure that the teleportation circle is secured." He places down a speaking stone, a gnomish magical item, on the table, and through the speaking stone, you hear a kind of crackly, lo-fi version, quality of Cudgel, the dwarf, coming through. "Aye, we've arrived. We had to turn the thing down. After the first few tendrils of darkness started to come through, I thought it wasn't really worth keeping it open. So we've shut it off from our end. but I believe we could open it again. I wouldn't want to do it without any of our special forces. That's what we're calling you. We're calling you our special forces. That's what we're doing in our time when you're not around. You do quite a lot on your own, and we've decided that you're very helpful. So if you could come, we could use your help here. Cudgel is at the teleportation node.
Where the airship just left from, or not?
No,
that?
there was a large circle where Little Bubo exploded. If you remember, it was like 100 feet tall circle. Thaddeus.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that thing is like a doorway into this like network of teleportation circles. Keen Harold reactivated the whole network. One of the nodes is located in the dark place. So Cudgel was sent with her mercenaries, a side band of about 24. They shut down the node from their end because they described darkness starting to tendril its way through. And they're like, we can't hold this. So they just shut the door. So I will say that we are going to do a little yada yada here just to give a clear sense of what is possible. What is possible is the party can stay and wait at this arcane reactor in case the airship arrives. Now, you've just been informed that the gnome, young Adelpho III, has quite strong confidence in being able to defend their location from the airship alone without your help. They could destroy it without your help. The teleportation...
From this location.
From where you are right now. Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. So from there, if the airship tries to attack this reactor, they'll be able to defend it with some explosive like missiles. Now, this teleportation node would take you directly into the dark place. But it seems dangerous. Something is on the other side. It is within that dark place. And the forces assembled, you have like a couple hundred forces. They would need you to go first to make sure the way is safe. If you want them to support you in your journey. They're more than happy to let you go alone, but they do not feel confident traveling into the dark place without your support as a party. So your decision at this point is whether to go to the teleportation node and then like have it closed behind you and just go as a party and try to solve this problem, to go into the teleportation node, try to like make it safe on the other side so that you can bring your forces with you in a certain way, or stay and defend this location in case the airship gets close to you, or create some sort of an alternate option. And if you want to like roll raw intelligence, I can provide you some options if you feel uncomfortable making that choice in character.
Like an idiot. Like Arlene's like not got, I think she's got like a -2 intelligence. Yeah, she's got a -2 intelligence.
-2 intelligence. Amazing.
So like, I think that she would just like be like,
I was just like okay.
I hate to say this, but this is a bit beyond me. It's
Right.
really rare. Basically, nothing's beyond me, but this actually is, because I thought it was a good idea to send them into the darkness, and I guess they don't want to go. So, I mean, without us, which is fair. Like, I don't. Loves the dark.
I love it. Arlie is, as she does, saying this, like basically saying, I don't know what to do, surrounded by most of the senior staff. The younger mage, not Jelzuel, but his apprentice, walks up to Harold. Harold?
We were only able to send you a brief message. So perhaps I should explain what we're sitting on here. This site, like a magical, a water wheel.
Yes?
The water wheel moves, and then It makes machines go.
Yes.
This place makes the magic go in these lines. We were able to use it to activate the teleportation network. And it can power Forge and the what was the Joswell, the site where we met you.
Yes, the Arcane Crucible.
The Crucible, yes, the Crucible. It can turn these things on.
That would have been easier had we known.
Our activity here, reestablishing the teleportation network, and not have gone unnoticed. We've just shot up a flare.
Yes.
I fear that if we lose this site, we will lose any control that we have over it. They will simply be able to turn it on and free Takesis. And this, with all respects to Senor Adelpho,
I thank you.
the last time I handled one of his inventions, very nearly killed me, and it wasn't explicitly designed to. Perhaps we should hedge our bets.
Oh, you get mad at me for not containing a godly energy in a little finicky artifact. Okay, do you know how many gnomes could fit a deity's energy into the globe that you use? Nobody, only Adelpho, okay?
Zero.
Only
Zero.
Adelpho.
Zero. I know 0 gnomes that could safely do that.
And it worked, huh? We're not standing in the darkness now. It's a beautiful light. It did a beautiful thing. What is he saying? It is not going to work. It is going to work perfectly. Hey, Thaddeus helped me test the navigational systems. I just added the payload that I got from the wonderful device that you secured from us. The dragon that blew the fire. I just took the core out of that. I reproduced it, expanded it about 5 times, made it slightly unstable so that it would explode on impact. It is a very simple device.
My
Is
point
he referring
exactly.
to the thing we threw as a football and turned out to be an explosive device? Is he referring to that?
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. Yeah. Look, Thad is back in Calaman right now, and we'll be coming back here. Here, you wait for Thad, and we can the airship.
Amazing.
That's what I think.
As you say you wait for Thad, you hear a commotion outside. This is just like a kind of makeshift corner that you've made because the base is like the defenses are still coming up. But there seems to be like arguments, shouting and fighting in the angry kind outside of this group. Do you continue trying to devise a plan, or does anyone go to see what's going on?
I think Arlie is just going to be like, great, distraction.
Okay. Arlie's like, I will take this opportunity. Aelric and Harold is like, they're all tied in strategy meetings. So, Arlie, you come out and you see a group of soldiers. You see the Elven refugees. You see the Kalaman soldiers that have been pulled from different places. They are tired and they are frustrated, and one of the carts has broken. Things have fallen. A case of weaponry has opened up. Some very valuable fire arrows have been covered in sand and is now going to be questionably useful. There is a fight that is breaking out. Kevin, there is nothing that draws you more than conflict. And seated in the middle of this space, what better place to center your defenses than the very arcane construct that everyone's here to protect? Legion has been inert since it imbued this magical object for Harold. And it's just been sitting there in the sand. it lifts its head. And Kevin, can you explain what Arlie sees and the rest of this group?
As Legion stands, you see a heavily armored humanoid entity, chainmail-esque plating around its body, pauldrons. He expands, moves up. He's very clearly in an aggressive stance. You see bits of what appears to be like bright red hair in the back. And as he turns around, you see this bright red beard kind of morph into a faceplate that comes into a helmet with wings coming off the side of his helm. And in his hand, he holds a warhammer. But the handle's a little short on it. Like, it's definitely not a two-handed weapon with electricity, lightning kind of around the handle. And you hear this faint peal of thunder kind of off in the horizon. And Legion is looking around, coming at these people, and all he is saying is, "Where is she?"
Legion, give me a wisdom check.
My first roll on this one. Oh, great. And I practiced this so hard, and now I can't remember how to do a wisdom
Under
check.
stress, it always gets scary. It always what button?
Yeah.
Oh my god! Ah!
What do I do? What do I do?
It's gonna be a DC 15 wisdom check.
Oh, fuck it. What am I rolling? Which dice?
D20.
Split wisdom.
D20. Boom.
And then you'll add your wisdom modifier.
13.
The 13.
There we go. Okay. I just rolled the real dice.
You are disoriented, depending on how you want to say it. You see humans armed, elves armed, coming to blows. You know that elves have longer memories, and they are outnumbered.
How many people are near me?
Say you're in the middle of this kind of like conflict that is starting, so there's like 24 humans and elves. There's a cart with 2 horses, crates of weaponry.
Arlie's just gonna be sorry. Who's she? As I assume she just gets like bowled over by some sort of like.
Yeah, Arlie sees this and just like at this point, the escalation, whether caused by or responding to or just resonating with, is escalating violently and quickly. And there are now people grabbing each other. Fists are being thrown. Sand is being kicked up. Some people have been thrown to the ground.
Legion is going to slam his hammer down on the ground.
Okay. What happens when you do that?
There is a shattering force that comes from the point of impact.
Give me a roll. Give me a damage roll, I think is what it is, right?
Straight up damage roll? Yeah.
It actually would be the spell, right? Because it's not.
Okay.
Because it's not your.
Yeah.
It's like a spell effect.
Where would
Ooh. I'd have to
the
look up-
magical. Wait.
I don't think we attached like a specific.
I don't think we did.
So I'm just gonna look up what this is. This is a 3d8 you'll be rolling.
Okay. The 8 is 6. Oh fuck. 8. So 14 and a 6. Oh god, so that's a full-on 20 damage.
20 damage. Okay, what is your spell save? Like, what is yours, the DC on the save?
Where did we put that? Oh, I think it's... Oh god, where is it? Where is it? I remember it being there somewhere.
Should be...
I think it was...
Because it's based on your, right? It's based on your, if I'm not mistaken, Shatter is based on, so what he's casting, just by the way, is he is casting a special effect of his weapon. It can be cast multiple times a day. It is the spell Shatter, centered around the impact. Shatter causes 3d8 thunder damage on a failed save, or half as much on a successful one. This is a Constitution save. So what I'm just trying to find is like what the DC is that needs to be rolled, or that they need to hit. So it would be
Constitution. It's a Constitution saving throw. It doesn't give.
So your spell save would be 8 plus your proficiency. Thad, Sam, you're a wizard. Your spell save DC is based on what? Or Arlie, both of you are. I mean, actually, everyone here casts
8
magic.
plus proficiency bonus plus spell casting attribute bonus.
Cool.
Thank you, Vic.
Thank you. And so Shatter is. I'm not sure what that would count as for yours. Let's say it's going to be, because it's a con save, I'm just going to say it's con for the sake of it. So it'll be plus your proficiency plus your con modifier, which will bring it to, I think it's 15. Is that right? Is that the DC, if I'm doing the math right? 8 plus 4 plus 3, it's 15. Cool. Describe what happens, Legion, as you hit the ground and all but 3 of the 24 people surrounding you are blown away.
They're just pitched back out of the way.
And I should say clearly, to be clear, killed.
Yeah.
To be clear.
Legion stands up, yelling, "Stop!" And he looks around and he goes, "Whoops." As he looks at everything he has wrought.
Sorry,
and he's just kind of
how much
standing there.
damage done to each one of these people?
It
You
was
said 20, you said? Yeah.
Like 20 HP each?
Yeah, for like, I mean, a commoner has, I think, 3 hit points.
God, all right. D&D's weird.
D&D's very weird. D&D's very weird. 20 hit points kills, like, most humans.
Essentially, player characters are like anime characters. You know what I mean? Like, they're getting, like, it's yeah.
It's wild. Yeah.
if a construct could look sheepish, Legion suddenly looks really sheepish as he glances around. He kind of like nudges one of the bits that are there, hoping that it'll stand up again.
Arlie, you see this. You see Legion stand up. You see Legion change in the way that it's changed before to adapt to a new god coming to the fore. You see this god is one of seemingly warfare. It has a large hammer. You hear thunder in the background. It's crackling with lightning. It screams in the middle of this melee, smashes its hammer on the ground. A massive explosion of force emanates from this space, and you see 21 people blown apart. The 3 who remain alive are suffering from severe internal injuries. One of them is unconscious.
I'm just gonna wipe the viscera out of her eyes so that she can see. I also don't know how close I was. I rolled a Constitution thing.
I don't think you weren't within the 30 feet. I don't. It's
10 feet. It's a 10-foot
10 feet.
radius.
Yeah, you weren't. So you weren't within the 10 feet.
So she's gonna be like, oh, gods. And then just gonna cast a quick mass healing word.
Amazing.
As Legion hears the "oh gods," he goes, "Yes."
Why would you affect our people? Legion, this is the clumsiest version of you that we have met yet. I can't say that I'm pleased to meet you. I'm Arlie Candlewick III.
Amazing. Harold, you hear this explosion. Like, there's fighting, arguing in the background. Just kind of a general, like, angry pub sound with a bit more people. And then there is a booming explosion, like lightning occurring right above your head. And then there is silence. Amazing. Arlie, your Mass Healing Word is able to heal the 3 people who survived back to physical health, if not mental clarity.
I don't even know if Revivify works on the eviscerated.
It's 1 cast per person, right?
It can't restore any missing body parts.
Oh.
So,
Yeah.
we're not making abominations today.
No.
Sorry about that. There was a lot of noise. There was a lot of shouting. There was fighting. And I needed quiet. I may have gone a little overboard.
Right. Yes, I'm happy to cast. I don't know if I can, but someone can cast silence around you. Should you need such a thing again? We have other ways.
It's quite quiet now, and I feel like I can think.
Shunk, 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 shunk. The assembled soldiers, including the senior staff, have at this point enclosed about a 30-foot. I'd say this is a 30-foot radius circle around Legion. So this is quite a large distance that they are maintaining. But they have come in response to a threat and are treating it as such. The only reason they're not attacking is because Arlie is talking with Legion.
Right. There's been an awful misunderstanding, truly terrible, the kind which requires insurance and compensation for the families. So really, I understand this is quite grim. But
My bad. Sorry.
there, from the
Where is
note-
Takesis?
Roll a persuasion check, Legion, with disadvantage. Let's see how good you are at apologizing.
Persuasion. 8?
The blades that haven't yet been drawn are now drawn. Thaddeus, you are taken down a very intricate series of fancy, wealthy halls into a grand chamber. Within this chamber sits a lot of very important people. The type of people that your mother grew up around and your father and his entire line actively hate. These are the rulers and assembled elite of Solamnia. Becklin waits at the door, our helmet in her arm, and says, "All right, this is the end of my task. I will return with you when it's all done."
You're not gonna help? I'm not negotiating with you, I'm negotiating with them?
My only mission was to send you here. I've done that.
Do you do I get any kind of lawyer advocate?
Your lawyer friend provided you some notes, it seems.
Yes, which I've had ample time to prepare. Can I get a mead or just something with taste?
Yeah, an attendant runs out. There's a table that's already set for you in front of this massive panel. There's a large jug of water, crystal. It has clearly been formed in an organic manner, not carved, with a lovely little glass next to it. They're placed in front of you.
I believe that prestidigitation allows me to slightly alter the flavor of things.
I don't know. Does it? That'd be cool. Sure.
Nicovar, you can double check me on this if I'm wrong, but I remember that it can sort of. I think that it can, or I'm remembering my. Anyway, if it can, I'd like to make the water taste like something just to wash out like
Why not? I love it.
Prestidigitation might have like cleaned up my front, but it hasn't taken the taste of vomit out of my mouth, and I wish to vomit again. Looking at the assembled.
I'm down for prestidigitation to give a little one of those like squeeze flavors that you put into a water or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
A shadow tendril like reaches out, touches the water, comes back.
Amazing.
I actually I spit very publicly. I spit the first mouthful out on the ground. Oh. And I grab another and I do it again and I drink that one down.
Amazing. Echoing through these grand stone hallways, clung, 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 a wooden mallet on a wooden little, those fancy lawyer things. There's a word for these. I don't know them. I am not Brennan Lee Mulligan.
Gavel.
Gavel, but it's the thing that the
gavel.
gavel hits. The thing that the gavel hits. And thank you. What's the gavel hit? It's a wooden thing.
The defendant.
Amazing. A wooden gavel rings out on the defendant in front of the judge moderating this hearing. Clack, clack, clack. All to order. Thaddeus Turnpike. We have brought you here to negotiate terms around Calaman.
Yes. I am currently in charge of Kalaman, but I am also currently in charge of saving the world. So, if you could lend me military aid in the defense of Kalaman while I am off saving the world, including Salamnia, I would be okay with allowing Salamic knights and armies into the vicinity of Kalaman. I flip through the notes after I say all that to see if I can find anything to back up the things that I just said.
Give me a perception check as well. This is going to be a DC 15.
$19. Wait, no, 13.
13.
No, 19 was right. I did it twice.
Oh.
Perception, 19.
Perception,
19.
19. As you're giving your opening statement, you see among this plethora of senior officials of this grand empire, in a small corner, out of the way, in an unofficial position, almost, one might say, in the shadows, Wyhan is watching. And with that, we're going to take a little bit of a break. It is now 9:06. We're going to come back at 9:20 to give ourselves about a 15-minute break. So don't go anywhere. Keep watching. Shit's getting crazy. And I'm going to transition us out so that we can all run and do a little bio work.
In Candlewick Manor, born to nobility, Ollie dodged through life with frivolity. Parties and balls, a life so grand. Little did she know what fate had planned. Ollie, the wandering Candlewick, chosen by Sybil in her destinies down the street from towers of paper to the open road. A reluctant cleric with powers bestowed. From luxury, thrust into robes, surrounded by tomes and dusty old globes. But Ollie's mind, sharp as a tack, mastered the legalese others did lack. Contracts and bylaws, she knew them all. Her litigious timelines at once, futures that fly, past, present, future, all intertwined, sometimes leaving the present behind. But Ali sees more than meets the eye. All timelines at once, futures that fly, past, present, future, all intertwined, sometimes leaving the present behind. Library cat, shrouded in mystery, follows Audie through every history. With glowing eyes and silent paws, it guards our path without pause. Audie, the wandering candlewick, chosen by Sybil in her destinies now, mystic from towers of paper to the open road, a reluctant cleric with powers bestowed. Cut from luxury thrust into robes, surrounded by tomes and dusty old globes, but Ollie's mind sharp as a tack, mastered the legalese others did lack.
Oh, hoist up the sails, let the winds take a blip. For Thaddeus Turnpike commands his ship. For good of the waves, a sailor so bold, with magical powers and a heart of gold. Behold, Thaddeus sailed the endless sea, with little Bubo as wise as can be. Through tempest and tide, they roam far and wide, the Turnpike legacy, their unfading pride. From the mighty Turnpike line he hails, with the lineage of captains braving the gales. A scion of seafarers fierce and grand, with the smell on his lips and the sword in his hand. Behold, Thaddeus, master of the spell, with little Bubo through heaven and hell. They dance with the stars, they flirt with the dew, their laughter echoes in the ocean's blue. An owl for his mate, little Bubo's his name. Together they soar in fortune and fame. With little Bubo, his talons wrapped in light, they summon the winds and the stars to their fight. A curse of great power, a gift or a bane, Thaddeus wields it with little to fame. A rogue with a charm, a sailor with flair, he faces each curse with nary a care. Behold, Thaddeus, the sea's arcane knight, with little Bubo in the pale moonlight. Through whispers of magic and the salt-laden air, the Turnpike adventure none can compare. So sing of the Turnpike, the legend, the tale, of Thaddeus and Bubo setting sail. For where the map ends, their journeys just start. The sea's in their blood, magic in their heart. The Turnpike, the legend, the tale, of Thaddeus and Bubo setting sail. For where the map ends, their journeys just start. The sea's in their blood, magic in their heart.
Candlewick, the tender cleric, brave met Ilric, a dragonborn far from his cave. To the Clarus Tower they made their way, where ancient books would have their say. A year among the tomes they spent, two worlds colliding, heaven sent. Arlie and Ilric, an unlikely pair, building a friendship beyond compare. Arlie's eyes danced through time's threads, while Ilrac's scales gleamed among the spreads. She taught him of Kryn's rich history, while he shared tales of draconic mystery. A year among the tomes they spent, two worlds colliding, heaven sent. Ollie and Elric, an unlikely pair, building a friendship beyond compare. Through dusty scrolls and parchments old, civilization stories Arlie told. Of kings and queens and courtly games, Elric learned of politics' dark aims. In quiet corners they'd often sit, debating lore and sharing wit. Arlie's charm and Elric's might, two cultures merging day and night. The Dragonborn's eyes opened wide to Kryn's vast world on every side, while Arlie glimpsed with growing awe the honor in the dragon's law. A year among the tomes they spent, two worlds colliding, heaven sent. Arlie and Elric, an unlikely pair, building a friendship beyond compare. Learning came to close, a friendship forged forever chose. Arlie and Elric, once strangers now kin, united by knowledge their journey begins.
Justice
Solania's fields a halfling stood tall. Sea gray eyes a fighter's call. With Fiona's love and Angus' smile, his world was bright for a little while. Oh, Harold Grey with list in hand, a promise made, a journey planned. Each task he'll mark, each dream fulfill. For those he's lost, his heart beats still. From Zakar streets to golden fields, their family loved the greatest shield. They dreamed of wonders near and far, penned on a list beneath the stars. Oh, Harold Grey with list in hand, a promise made, a journey planned. Each task he'll mark, each dream fulfill. For those he's lost, his heart beats still. Young Angus fell on distant shore, while Fiona's kiss would come no more. A drunken noble, a vengeful blade, left Harold's world in darkness laid. But from his grief a purpose born, to honor vows that he had sworn. The list unfolds a final wish, a blade resisted a gutted fish. Now Harold roams through joy and strife, to live for three in one short life. From mountains high to oceans deep, this solemn pledge he vowed to keep. With bowler hat and iron will, he faces each task with hard-won skill. For every deed he sees it through, he feels their love forever true. And when the final task is done, when every battle's lost and won, he'll close his eyes, his duty clear, knowing his loved ones drawing near.
Probably a controversial statement to make.
We're back. No one will hear what that controversial statement was, but
No controversy here.
It'll be awesome for the chat to guess. If you guess, we will send you, I don't know, a little bubo. There you go. No one's gonna guess. What universe is this? We are back, and I am back with Thaddeus. You're looking through some notebooks. I'm actually gonna say, as you look through, Arlie, would you like to tell Thad what you wrote in those notes that you threw him as advice?
Oh my God, I forgot that I did that. What was the context? I remember the action, but what was he tasked with doing?
He's tasked with they're asking him to relinquish control of Calaman, is what they're asking. What Solamnia, the kingdom of Solamnia, is asking Thad to relinquish control of Calaman, the city that he took over, because technically it's theirs. Well, now it's technically his.
There's probably stuff in there about how to install like a puppet ruler, and then with like hilarious things of being like, don't make yourself the puppet ruler, it's too obvious. You're just the ruler then. So there was probably, that's
in my notes, I was vague, but in my notes, Thad, this it contains, let me see, because I did have negotiating positions, defensive strategies, and demands. So you can give me a intelligence check with advantage because you got it from Arlie.
I keep on doing that. 23.
With a 23. Amazing.
Yeah.
So with a 23, you are able to find clad iron justification and strategy for 3 of your things. What 3 of your demands? That like you won't even need any more support. You're just like, oh, this is this. Boom, boom, boom. These are free now.
That Solamnia immediately shifts a pretty well-rounded chunk of support to our forward push to the forge.
Okay.
That the people of Vogler are incorporated inside Calaman's defenses.
Okay.
And that if once the war is over, I can challenge a champion of the chosen picking of this council to regain negotiated control of the city of Kalaman underneath the Turnpike name, with the proviso that Vogler may or may not follow suit if they so choose. But that's up to them if they want to still who they wish to territorially be in.
Amazing. Nice. You were able to relay, like, looking at these notes that seem almost perfectly, like, prepared, like, following Proviso C with the precedent of this thing in this century under this leader and this sort of thing with these, like, 4 lawyers and the clerics who decided them. And you're able to just, like, fully establish these demands. After you see the kind of air deflate from some of these elites who are like, oh, I thought we would have been able to argue for more of them. There is a little recess, at which point you are not allowed to leave and you just have to sit there. There's people kind of leave the room. There's some chatting in quiet in-camera conversations. There's a reconvening and the gavel hits again. I think we learned what the gavel hits. A block. It's not the defendant, but, you know, it could be. The defendant could be a block head. And they resume the discussions, and the head of this convening says, very well, the Solamnic Empire can agree to these terms. If you're willing to sign immediately, we can return you to your people.
Bring me some ale, mead, and whatever I need to sign, and I can be on my way back to my people who might be dead, you know, over this. I just want to say.
Right. You see a little nod, not even a snap, just like a nod and a hand raised, and 5 attendants come from different corners with mead and food, and a final one comes with a large scroll, unrolls it. Everything has been pre-written magically as it was defined, and a quill is put in your hand to sign.
As I sign publicly in front of everybody assembled, I go, the War Council is aware that. Actually, no, I shouldn't say. And then
give me a perception check. Give me a perception check. This is a DC 5.
19.
19. As you're like, I shouldn't say, and you look back down. You just signed your name, but it isn't there.
I'm not.
So far, nobody has seen this. It's still just on your, like, you're still in front writing. No one has seen this yet, but you're certain that you were writing it, but it's not appearing.
I look up immediately and go, before I sign this, I realized that I've just been made a full member of the tower. Oh no, I actually... Is there a representative of the tower? Is there maybe somebody by the name of Wyhan who I might be able to talk to very quickly?
Well, if requested by name, I suppose I have an obligation to my young mentee. Yes, excuse the interruption, everyone. She takes a very long time walking out in front of everyone and refuses to engage with you until a chair is dragged to sit opposite you. At which point she sits and begins tearing at some of the pork that has been placed in front of you. Requires another glass and pours herself a drink. You are now. She also casts a sphere of silence around you, so you have privacy.
As she's coming up, the pen and the ink that they've given me, I know that there's no like scratch paper, but like really lightly on the side when I tap, like if I write like a little squiggle on the parchment, does ink flow then?
Yes.
Oh fuck. Wyhan. Since we last talked to one another, which there's so much about what's happening and information that you could have. Doesn't need the time of. I died, and then I was brought back via unnatural means. Even
most resurrection is unnatural. Let's be honest.
No, I'm about to try to get to in the panoply of ways in which it is recorded that a life can come back. I came back from a thing, as far as my knowledge, I shouldn't be able to come back from. I don't exist. When I tried to sign the document, my name wouldn't sign it. I think because I'm not.
Okay. She stares at you. You can roll an insight check if you'd like.
I'm going full Charlie Day, by the way. Like in all of my sort of handsome, like 6 foot something glory, like I'm leaning on I'm whispering, even though I know that there's like a thing. What do I need to roll? Do I need to roll something?
Insight. I mean, she's just staring at you right now. You can roll an insight if you'd like.
4.
A 4? The problem with Wyhan is that when she looks at kind of anyone, or at least like in your direction, you can't quite tell if she's thinking something, if she's actively hating you, or if she's just like off in her own mind. This is very good food, by the way, Thaddeus. Were you wanting some advice?
Yes, I was also wondering if you could come up with a bullshit reason for why you have to sign the document so I can go back.
I'm afraid as wizards of the tower, we are unable to participate in any terrestrial mundane politics. Even if I wanted to, I wouldn't be able to sign that document.
Is there a magical reason now that I am a member of the tower that I can't sign that document? Could you physically not sign it either?
Yes, exactly.
Oh, okay. Oh, I thought that I was an abomination.
Not for the reasons you think.
Oh. What do we do here?
Right. I do like this. Make sure this comes with us. She drops the sphere of silence and turns to the party. Right. I am afraid that as wizards of the tower, we, both myself and my apprentice, newly welcomed into full membership of the Sorcerer's Towers, are prohibited from engaging in such mundane political matters. I'm sure whatever Thaddeus wishes to do, he does so with utmost sincerity, but I'm afraid you will have to find someone else to speak for Calaman, because he no longer does. Well, now that that is concluded, I believe we can end this discussion, and you shall return Thaddeus to his place as was promised, yes? There's a general commotion. You can roll an insight check if you'd like to kind of figure out what is happening.
With
a 17. With a 17, you can see through this like total shredding of decorum as infighting. What you see is that the infighting that clearly exists between political positions in the Solamnic government are showing their lines. Whereas before you arrived in a unified panel, now you are seeing how, oh, it looks like those two people actually don't like this person, and that person doesn't like those three people, and this person and that person actually are very much against each other, but he can clearly, like, you're starting to see the lines in the politics and how it's all put together. Behind all of it, though, what Wyhan has just said is true. As a full member of the Tower, you are not allowed to engage in politics, which means you can roll me a history check with advantage because you have Arlie's notes.
20. Dirty 20.
With a dirty 20, the ownership of Kalaman has been handed over to your next of kin.
So that would be, I guess it would go, I'd have to check on actual how this would work, because I still do have an older brother. So if the younger brother came into titles that were not part of the dynastic and had no children, I don't know how. I guess it would technically probably bump to my father and then bump down to my brother again. So until my dad is confirmed dead. Oh, sorry.
And with that,
as I look at the chaos, I also asked Wyhan, have I completely destabilized the internal politics of the Solamnic government?
Oh, darling, the real secret about politics is they're never stable. Anyways, I'm going to eat this. Go see your friends. I do believe they are still alive. See you soon. And she grabs the plate and just starts walking away. And Becklin comes up from behind you, a huge hand, says, well, now we return. And there's a click, and you are out of space, and you return in the middle of a large circle that has been emptied because it is filled with viscera, surrounded by soldiers who you recognize most of. In the center of this circle is Arlie and a large warforge, clearly a new aspect of Legion. Everyone, you see Thad pop back into existence in the center of this circle next to Legion and Arlie, with Becklin in her large power armor standing beside him. That is in beautiful, nice new red robes.
Oh my god, it just takes 20 soldiers to summon a Thad.
Stares around and just shouts, looking at all the bodies everywhere, and goes, "What did we do? What did we do?" And then throws up again on top of everything.
Legion will just kind of like kneel down and pat him on the back and go, "Not we, me. Sorry."
Do take credit where blame is due.
Oh, I thought we teleported it into the. Oh.
No, sorry. This was my poor judgment.
Did summon Thad in this horrific. No, that can't be right.
Oh, I didn't summon him. Wait, who are you?
Harold is white as a sheet and shaking. Dan's Queen Jezebel, about half of Queen Jezebel, and the epicenter of this carnage. And how tall is this construct? How tall is Legion? Right now.
I mean, his sort of like max normal height just as a warforged. He can't fully manifest as himself, so he's just like he's probably like 6'4". 6'4"? Is that? Yeah.
Little taller than Elric, maybe? Gilroy, that is just dry heaving, trying to understand what the hell's happening. Sand covered in puke and blood and viscera. Yeah.
What are you the god of?
Thunder.
I would have guessed wanton destruction, but thunder sounds.
That kind of follows usually in my wake, yes.
Sounds like thunder.
Thad, you can give me a
Oh.
history check with advantage.
Murder
No.
20 of my people, and you're sorry?
Yes.
Thad,
Thoughts?
you recognize when he says, when this construct claims to be the god of thunder, you put together some pieces: the shortened warhammer, the stature, the godly energy, and the thunder is what is the keystone to this. This is a god from your family's pantheon. The pantheon, one of the pantheons outside of Solamnia, traditionally. This is, I'm not sure what you would call this god. You can use that name, or you can use a different one.
I mean, what is a Legion going?
Hasn't named itself yet.
Well, I'm not gonna name. I'm gonna let our knight. But that in recognition.
Nobody's asked my name, so
Yeah.
He does sort of like stagger back for a second, and then kind of like drop down onto his knees in some form of supplication. And I look around and say, you did this?
I didn't mean to. Oh, please don't, not with the kneeling. I don't do that thing. Please.
I even contained. This is.
Use your words. It's okay.
We, of course, how could you not be inside of the construct? You're all inside of the construct.
Not all of us. We're missing one. Where is she? Where is Takesis? She is missing.
The men that you just killed, we're all trying to retrieve her.
Oh, this is bad.
Yes, these have been your comrades in other incarnations of the Legion construct.
Sorry, I lack the wisdom of my father. I didn't think. I just was trying to stop. It has been
You lack
very
honor.
confusing.
You succeeded, technically. You did stop the fight.
Yes, I did. But in a bad way, in a poor way. I would have thought my actions through.
Do they have honor to come from?
Excuse me?
Your people. Do they have honor?
You mean like, does Thad have honor? Because I think Thad
Arlie.
just sort of showed us that.
Arlie.
Yes.
That has just turned white, by the way. Covered in puke.
Harold, I understand that Legion has just murdered a bunch of our allies right in front of us. And the paperwork is going to be immense. And the payouts to the family, like, it's really bad. But Thad's back. So that's fun. What is it that you're concerned about? What of these things is currently concerning you most?
Yes.
How do you
We
show it to us?
have honor.
A guest in our camp. You.
guest?
Is how you show your honor to
A guest? We were here when you crawled in the mud. We put ourselves in this construct when you demanded that we no longer be part of your existence, and you messed up. And now I am here to help fix your mistake. And you
These men
ask me of honor.
their homes
Harold?
put to pieces to you. Now you have slaughtered them for what a mistake. I am tired of gods.
My friend, my deity.
You can call me by my name. I am Thor Odinson.
Thor, what my friend in his temper is trying to point out to you is that as a comrade of ours and as a comrade of theirs, in your rashness, you have opened up a lack of reciprocity in your benevolence. We've been out here, I've been out here fighting under your banner and your aegis, and you have wantonly slaughtered these men. It is right for him to be angry, and reciprocity dictates then that you do have, and I use this word hesitatingly, but a debt.
His anger is justified, yes. Asking if I have honor is not.
That was a bit bold.
But, yes, my rashness does warrant reciprocity. But rash words will not help this situation. I have been fighting for nigh on 3 of your centuries to keep the balance in this machine. I have fought Takesis. I have lost to Takesis. I have beaten Takesis. And when I went to face her... recently... your mortal lifespans are so fleeting, it is frustrating. I do not know how recent it was. She was gone. And when I heard battle here, I came hoping to find her to bring her back. And I acted rashly.
Well, at least we have some things in common. We are also pursuing Takesis. Or at least the gem that holds the essence if she isn't out yet. She's not out yet, is she?
Would I be able to sense or know, like on any scale, whether she has been released or not?
They can't power the forge. We're sitting on the power system.
I mean, I'll give you a DC 20 Arcana check.
Well, yeah. No, I need to get Harold. I can't do it. We're still too public.
Yeah.
8, no.
So with an 8, you were very clear, like within the construct, you had gotten to know that the environs in there, however unnatural and unrealistic they were, back in this mortal plane, and through the thick gloves that are this body, this construct, you're unable to ascertain. You can't feel her here.
The construct just kind of shrug, and I'm like, I don't know if she's been released.
Aelric
I
steps up.
assume-
Aelric steps up and says, because there's, at this point, bowstrings are starting to waver as people have been holding them for so long, that there is a growing possibility of unintentional firing or something going wrong. There's still very much a large standoff, and there is a lack of clarity as to how this will be de-escalated. Aelric enters the space and opens his wings to create focus and says, "Clearly he is not our enemy. Everyone must stand down. We will deal with him in our way." And through a commanding presence and use, rare embracing of his authority, plus the follow-through of the other senior staff, there is a standing down, and most of the soldiers leave the space in an aggressive way. The rest of you and Legion are, under the guidance of Aelric, sent to the outskirts of what is now this central secure area, so that you are a good few hundred paces beyond the outside perimeter, in a space where you are close enough but also far enough away.
As Legion walks, he's very careful not to step on the viscera, and he's constantly like, sorry. Like he's being very careful and trying to be very deferential to the bodies that he created, but he's also very clumsy. And he's
give me an insight check as you're doing this.
Thor, if I could get it in writing that you're very sorry, that would be great.
Oh, sure, yes, of course.
Oh my God.
12.
Thank you.
Amazing. With a 12, Thor, you have killed more people than you can imagine, or than you can remember, right? But there are certain things that transcend individuals, and kind of patterns and that occur through warfare. Something that comes back to you because you haven't seen it in so long, because you've been fighting in this kind of Valhallan space of constant combat and resurrection amongst immortals, is the look of loss and of sworn vengeance on the face of some of the soldiers who passed to let you by.
There. I just, yeah.
Look, we can't expect all the gods
No.
to competently pilot Legion. We can't. I mean, it's unrealistic to expect all the gods to be terribly intelligent. That's just not what they're all best at.
She's right.
And I hate being right.
Why?
Oh no, I'm sorry. It's sort of. I obviously don't. I love it. It's fine. It's fine. Thank you for the thank you note. I'm going to be copying them and sending them to the families, and we'll try to create some sort of condolences package.
I'll do what I can in reciprocity for them. I'm kind of limited here.
Jelzuel comes out from the main defensive base of the forge, of the reactor, alone. Anyone can give me a straight intelligence check if they want, in terms of why it's Jelzuel. But Nat 20 for Thad. Got it.
Natural 20.
Thad, Jelzuel is a old elven wizard, what you might call a master. Harold, I think even with a 15, you get a sense of this from a more vague, you get the same kind of result from more a vague sense of intuition, whereas Thad gets this from a very clear sense of like, oh, this is a master wizard who can do these types of spells and probably also these types of spells and also probably these types of spells. If anyone is going to come in our area under potential threat, this is probably the one individual in our camp who could keep himself safe and also potentially remove us from the equation, if not kill us. So he comes up. The sun is already starting to get low in the late afternoon. Well, I believe we must come to some sort of arrangement very quickly. I would suggest, at first light at the latest, that you take your entire party, now reconvened, to the teleportation node that is currently being watched over by Cudgel and her team. It might take some work, but if you still desire, we likely could have the troops ready to follow you after we deal with the airship were it to come any nearer to our base of operations. I fear you remaining here further would endanger morale and cohesion, if not more lives.
Where are we going?
Yes. This
What he
might be
said.
something you need to catch up on. I am going to say that there begins a bit of a catch-up discussion, which goes late into the night. It goes so late, in fact, that the sun sets, the stars rise, as everything is kind of gone through, checked over, questions are made. Communication gets a bit slower because Jelzuel has to literally walk back and forth until on the third return he comes bearing one of the talking stones that Adelpho III has created, and then you're actually able to connect to this communication network that he has set up. In the communication network is basically all of the major people and places that you need to talk to in the Northern Wastelands. So you can now talk directly to your main group at the Arcane Reactor. You can talk to Cudgel, who's at the teleportation node. You can talk to the Ethereal Dread, which is moored at Wrecker's Edge. You cannot talk to anyone at Kalaman specifically, but everyone who is in this theater of war, you have direct access to now. And going forward, he has been able to work on the communication devices. Arlie, you find yourself nodding off over all of these discussions of tactics and war and strategy. They're like a lovely book to read when you're going to sleep, and they just draw you in to a nice slumber. And it was within this slumber that you have one of those moments of like, I'm just going to lie down here. This is great. I'm really tired. I want to stay up. I totally do. This is really important. Very, very important. I just want
I
to...
want it to be... Sorry, this is while everyone's talking, right?
Everyone's like going off. Yeah. Just...
Okay. So I picture is like, I picture them sitting at a table and Arlie just keeps like just being further and further and further back until like eventually she's just like sitting on the floor, and then eventually she's just like passed out on like the tip of Elric's tail as like a pillow. That's what
I love it. That's amazing. That's amazing. So you're kind of like fading off. The voices are getting further and further away. Aelric, who's like ever the stalwart, sitting kind of beside you, engaged in this conversation, but his tail's very nice, even though scaly. It's like kind of soft. It's not like harsh, and it's curled in just the way that like you can kind of curl yourself up in it. And sleep finds you. And yet you're not asleep. You just did go to sleep, but now you're not asleep, and the pillow that was Aelric's tail is no longer there. It's just a cold stone floor.
Don't love this change. I swear to God I was listening. I was listening.
You totally were, and now the voices are gone.
What? Insight?
Your eyes are closed because you were asleep.
Wait, are my eyes open now?
You can open them. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna open them. I'm gonna look at the ground and be like, why is the ground not sand?
It is a stone floor, well polished.
I'm sorry. What like well polished, like scrubbed by nuns polished, or like blast site glass polished,
like countless shuffling feet over eons polished.
Okay, I'm looking around at where I am.
You're looking around at where you are, and you recognize immediately books and books and books and books, countless shelves with countless books, and you have been here before.
Oh no, where's Library Cat? Library Cat, we're home!
You hear from around the corner a small voice. Says, "Oh, it's not time to return, I'm afraid. No, Library Cat is still out with your book. Yes. No, you returned both of them at the same time, and it is far from due. Yes. Around the corner, you see a small, Kender-sized old woman wearing a library's robe, like an academic robe. You can give me a history check.
You speak with the ancient Kender dialect before we became influenced by the Tri-Cities.
Yes, you can give me advantage for your history check.
Okay.
Because you called that.
The accent that I can only do. Sam, you've been gone, and I can't do the accent. I can't do the Kender accent without you. Did you say insight or history?
History, please. With advantage. The 12.
Oh, sorry.
Keep going. Keep rolling.
One.
Keep rolling.
Okay, I'm sorry. That just
we got quadruple.
I thought
quadruple.
I wasn't listening.
With a 12, you don't know who this is, but they look really familiar. There's just something about they look really familiar, but you can't say that you've met them. She seems really old, and she just kind of like trundles up to you, says, "All right, now get up off the ground. That's all right. Yes, no, dear. There's no place to sleep. If you want to sleep, we have plenty of cots upstairs. But I don't think you'd be coming here to sleep now, would you? Because you have plenty places to sleep back where you came from. Here is for learning. Yes, learning. Now, I have a few books to return. You can come with me on my walk, or we could just stand here and talk if you prefer. I understand you've been running around."
Love to look at more of the library. Really, I would.
Oh, wonderful. Well, I love to walk and talk. You know, one person a few hundred years ago called this a sorkin, and I don't know why, but I absolutely enjoy it. So we're just going to walk and talk. As my old friend said, we will sorkin. Now, on this sorkin, I'm going to give you this cart here, and around the corner, there's a cart filled with old tomes on little wheels. And you're just going to follow me, and we'll just find all the places to return these books, because, of course, that's what we must do.
I'm actually very good at this. I hate that I'm very good at this, but I'm very good at it.
Oh, I know. That's why you're here to help me, because you're so excellent. You're one of the best. Now, Arlie, I think we do have something to talk about, yes?
Maybe, I assume. Yes. Enlighten me.
Oh, yes, well, that's what I'm here for, darling. It seems like you have quite a choice ahead of you. Yes?
That's great. What's my what? Is it... Because I was leaning towards fixing Legion and not destroying Legion. Is that the choice, or is it something totally different?
You've got it. You are a clever one. I knew you would get it instantly. You didn't even need a second follow-up. See? I've tried to tell Zivlin all the time, Arlie, she's a bright one, this one.
That's fun, talking to Zivlin. And he listens, like, coherently. That's fantastic.
Oh, Zivlin hears everything. Anything that could be considered knowledge, he sees and hears. Therefore, that's kind of like everything.
I obviously have unwavering faith in Zivlin, but my main,
of course you do.
I hang out with a cat. Or at least before my cat made a new friend. Now I don't even hang out with the cat. So it's not that our relationship is strained. It's just that when the god you work with knows everything. Anyway, continue. Tell me what the choice.
Okay.
Yes.
I will need the collected histories of the northern halflings, the greybeards, on to the Fadofals.
sorry,
She's stopped in front of a place where there's an empty book. Just hand me the collected histories of the halflings from the greybeards to the Fadolfos. That big red one, right? Yes, excellent. She just and puts this big book back in its place. Wonderful. Now we're on to the next one. So, this decision you have, Arlie, yes, do you fix the Legion construct or do you destroy it? It's quite a big decision, isn't it?
Not small.
No, not at all, not at all. And what have you thought about that decision? Do you have any leaning?
It would be really cool if the world was filled with gods again. But I am also quite fond of Legion. So it would be also really cool not to destroy our companion.
Yes.
And I sort of wonder if both are possible.
Oh, interesting, yes. Well, I do suppose that it could be possible to keep Legion from being destroyed and have the gods released. Yes, I don't see why that wouldn't be possible. Of course,
Legion has a very pleasant default setting, and perhaps...
Yes, I was about to say, you would lose a lot of those godly aspects of Legion were they released.
But I understand that magic would return to the world politically, there would be chaos. Celestially, there'd be chaos. Like, I understand it would be a very chaotic time, but it used to be a chaotic, and we were at fine.
Well, I suppose so. I mean, there are... May I? And she reaches out to you.
Please.
She touches you on the forehead. Just gently, with the middle finger. And I'm not even going to roll for this, because for anyone who's watching, Arlie is in Zivalin's realm. This is at a celestial library wherein all knowledge and wisdom is collected and cataloged. And from this position, this librarian, touching your head, is able to transfer in an instant everything of the good, the fun, the frivolity, the joy, the good chaos, and the bad chaos. A moment ago, you just witnessed a piece of unintentional chaos, let alone malicious chaos that does come from gods. And also, evil need not be malicious. It can be very intentional. Through her touch, she reveals to you tomes and histories and legends and truths and memories of all the people who existed under both the favor and the heel of the gods.
It was a more complicated time, wasn't it?
Oh, every time is complicated, Arlie. You know that. You don't live in a very simple time yourself, do you, girl? Now,
well, I make it more complicated, so...
Oh, but we all like to make it a little bit complicated, isn't it? A little bit more fun when it's just a little bit complicated. Yes, of course. Now, I need water spirits excluding jellyfish.
Oh,
yeah, that's just this... That's just, yes.
Excluding shellfish is next to it.
Yes. We that has a different place. Wonderful, thank you.
Okay.
And she fires that into one of the slots and keeps walking. Yes, it was very, very wild back then when the gods were out. It was quite an incredible time. Of course, not everyone was.
Which way? I mean, obviously, either Zivalin never got captured in Legion or snuck out and Legion doesn't care.
She gives you a look. I'm going to ask for an insight check as she looks at you when you say that.
I mean, who would miss a know-it-all? I know I wouldn't. What am I doing?
You just said, what you said, obviously Zivalin was what?
Either never captured or slipped away and Legion didn't care.
And she looks at you as you say that, and I want you to roll an insight check.
Insight. Why? Potent dice, which
is that a natural one?
Yes.
Did you roll a natural one?
I did.
Amazing.
On the skill that I'm best at, that I have a 20.
Yeah, +8. She rolled a 1. She looks at you, and there's just like this kind of mischievous, like kind of Kender energy coming from her. You kind of recognize it almost in the way that some people have described your own look.
You're not gonna let me use portent. You're not gonna let me.
Oh, you can use a portent dice. You can use a portent dice.
That's what I was trying to shout. I just forgot.
Oh,
the
my
R.
bad. Yeah, you can use a portent, but then you have to. A portent dice is already pre-rolled, right?
I didn't roll them. They're like new. And
Oh,
like,
my bad. Yeah.
They've
No, of
been
course.
used up.
Because we started the
And
day
now
today. Yeah. Roll your dice.
They're-
Roll your dice, and you
and
can
they're
choose to use a
D6s,
portent
right?
dice. They're D20s.
What is wrong with my?
And then you
brain?
replace this result with one of the ones you roll.
Okay, this is a 17. Like I can't pick up my. You have to. And that's a 19. These sound suspicious, but that really happened with this dice.
Do you want to replace your 1 with a 19?
I do.
Amazing. She looks at you and you have a moment of like literally not having any idea, just this like blank stare that you feel like you see a lot of people give you sometimes. And then there's a kind of a shift and you almost look out from the other eye, like going from like focusing by looking at your left eye to focusing looking at your right eye. And you see her reaction to you saying, well, obviously Zivelin somehow slipped away or never went in the first place. And she says, and you see a little approval in her gaze as you say something that you shouldn't know, but is more true than you do know.
Damn it! Sorry. Just there's a little twitch there, but I couldn't. Was it from
Sorry,
the
what?
first part of my sentence?
What,
or the
me?
second?
What? Sorry, was it? Did I do something with my
No,
face?
You're fine. You're fine.
Was
you're
it-
fine.
Was it? It's just my face. Is it? Okay. Okay. Well, let's keep going.
You're fine.
Right. Yes. This difficult choice, and how wonderful and crazy and horrible it was before the gods were thrown away. Yes, it is a very... And you stand with all the power to make a decision one way or the other.
And has Zivelin really enjoyed kind of being the only god about town? Has it been really nice? Just like a big relief. No drama. Only learning.
She chuckles. She chuckles to herself, and this kind of like... This like... Of like a very satisfied elder. In you, being satisfied in you. She says, I'm not sure if Zevelin really feels satisfaction in the same way we could describe. I think there is a satisfaction in being useful and having their knowledge used. I think is a piece of satisfaction. Though, if I were to be honest, I do think at times he feels a little lonely.
Don't mean to say that Zivelin is sort of pro the unleashing of all the gods and the chaos. Is he? Be interesting to know how he feels.
I'm not quite sure if he has an objective one way or the other. Of course he did reach out to you now, didn't he? But whenever I ask him, I always say, well, why did you do it? You obviously touched Arlie, the first cleric in hundreds of years. You obviously have some sort of objective and want her to do something to change the world. I mean, clearly that's obvious, am I right? And the problem is, every single time, he just responds by saying, well, I know Arlie will do the right thing.
Oh, I hate that.
Don't you just hate that?
Very
Isn't that
much.
just the worst answer? I absolutely hate those answers.
Yes.
They're terrible. Which is why I just wanted to take this little moment to sneak aside while I'm returning some books and just ask you myself, what is it that you think is the right thing to do, and what are you going to do about it, young one?
But that's the problem with knowledge, is that like it never stops happening and there really is no wrong answer because we learn from everything we do, right
actually,
or wrong. It's this
speaking of, while we're here, could you
morally
just...
neutral situation.
While we're just here, but as we keep going, could you just pass me wrong answers A through F?
Oh, absolutely.
Thank you. Wonderful. Yes.
I have to say, it is really delightful. Peak wrong.
Sorry, as you were saying, though, you were talking about there is no wrong answer, of course, which is entirely true.
Yeah, infuriating. So, so if Zivelin has no interest in influencing this one way or the other, then in all likelihood, I'm just going to defer to the louder, smarter people that I travel with.
Well, I think Zivlin does have by giving you power and placing you there with all the agency you have as a mortal, I think that Zivlin definitely has an intention of you doing something. Of course, he decided not to tell me, and maybe not even. I'm not sure.
So you brought me here just because you would like just a little bit of a heads up. Do you have a bet? Do you have a pool? Can I get in on it? I would like to place a bet on what I'll do.
Oh, right, yes, wonderful. And what do you bet?
Oh gosh. What is of value to you? Oh my gosh. Wrong. Okay. Wrong answers are incredibly potent in this realm, are they not? Can I bet? But I don't want to make the wrong choice at the time. But if I do, I would.
Well, you
like
do have a
to...
bit of an advantage of betting on what you will do because you can do it, right? So you could game the system, as it were.
Can I though? Am I that predictable?
Well, only you could
Are you
say
willing
that.
to make
I
that bet?
suppose.
Fine, don't play. Okay, fine. I guess I will bet that I will. I bet that I will. Is this lady the first librarian? The first librarian. I love it. Sorry, just the chat.
Yeah.
So I bet that I will lean towards freeing the gods. Gasp.
Lean towards.
Can't guarantee anything, but.
Well, I guess that's as good as I can get. Well, I mean, I was leaning towards just seemed like a step away from certainty at the end of that bet. I was really putting all my chips in. Right, but you bet on an outcome. You don't bet on a kind of a possibility of an outcome.
I don't think that we gamble the same way.
Oh, I suppose a lot has changed, yes. Oh well. Could you pass me the octopus named Carl, please?
Sorry. Bet that you'll do the right thing. She wants to bet that she'll do the wrong thing because we'll learn more that way. Like I think that's like our
You could do that. You could do that. Just the octopus named Carl, just that little one over there. It's for children.
Oh yes.
Yeah. Yes, it's a lovely one. You should read this if you have the time, especially if they're under 5.
I do like the poetry of the insight that I've just magically gotten. It feels like from. I like the idea of not betting on the specific outcome, but on the nature of right and wrong, which Siflin doesn't believe in the first place. So.
And what will so you're betting, if I can be absolutely clear, you're betting that you will do the wrong thing in opposition to what Zivlin believes.
No.
Oh, okay.
Do you know what Zivlin believes?
Oh, Zivlin just keeps telling me all the time. Zivlin says, I say, why did you choose Ali? What's she going to do? And Zivlin says, she'll do the right thing. Ali will do the right thing. Goes on and on.
Oh.
Can't get a single word beyond that.
Oh, well, no, then he's... Well, actually, that's very reassuring. His entire...
That's absolute faith, yes.
I suddenly see this as a very bizarrely reassuring situation. And...
I'm happy you're reassured.
Yeah.
I'm actually much more concerned about the outcome of this entire thing.
Right, I have no idea how to bet, and I have no idea what's of value to you, so really I think I was just bluffing. And if Zivlin isn't going to reveal anything, then I feel that... I mean, I feel like this is the moment where I say, I've got to get back to help my friends, but actually I'm really not helping with this part. I really don't like this part. I look forward to the outcome of the direction of the marching armies in whatever direction they think we should go.
Well, if you're not in a rush, then you can help me empty this cart and return some more books. How about that?
Okay, yes, I would love
Wonderful.
to. I mean, I hate it, but I love it.
The two Kender, Arlie and this elderly librarian Kender, walk off into the endless halls of the Celestial Library, returning books from a cart filled with them. And I'm going to return back to this midnight strategy session with the party around a sleeping Kender who's curled herself up in Aelric's tail. This can be in character, this can be out of character. What I want to do within the next 12 minutes is find a clear direction, course of action.
I mean, I think that Thad would be all about if the airship is coming this way and finds out we have a way to blow it up, would want to try to see if we could like blow it up and get Bubo back before moving on to the forge.
Jelzu was actually able to relay some information that they saw a lot of Jelzu will be able to. Oh yeah, because he has fucking scrying. Yeah, they saw the Dragonel squadron leaving a few days ago and cast a scrying spell to get closer to see who was flying with them, and they actually were carrying Bubo's body away from the airship, so it is no longer there.
Mm. Well, then in that case, I would push for. I think that we should try to. I think that even if we push forward to the forge, we should still try to. If we have a device that can. Did the gnomes say that they can, like, with the device, blow up the airship, or can they just make the airship go away?
They could blow up the airship with these weapons.
I think that we should still try to, if they can just blow up the airship, pull that thing in as close as we possibly can and explode it. Just take it off the board while it's right here, and we can do it kind of easy.
Totally. Aelric is not against that idea. It is definitely feasible, and you're able to like communicate. I'm going to say that Aelric has confidence in the forces. The Salamnic Knight Becklin and her squadron say that they are willing to stay with the main forces at the reactor and defend it as well. I can't speak for what Harold believes and his confidence in the gnomish technology, but they do express absolute confidence in their ability to destroy the airship. The next option would be the next course of kind of what could happen would be what to do in terms of how to arrive at the dark place. So you have a large teleportation circle. It's like 100 feet vertical, standing like a coin on its edge. It has been closed because when open, it started to like black darkness started to tendril itself out because one of the other locations is in that dark place. They are willing to open it and let you pass as a party. If you can secure the other side, then they would be willing to send forces along behind, or can somehow prove that it is safe on the other side. But they're not going to send their forces through blind.
Thor is fully behind this. If these forces say they can take down the airship, the focus should be the forge to secure that, because that is the only way to decide or to reinstate Takesis into Legion.
Mm-hmm.
And I will go first.
Awesome.
And be the vanguard and the bulwark against whatever is on the other side.
There is also another option. From near the ground, Squeak Noir speaks up, having been ignored at this council until now. Were it possible to take control of this airship, we could bring our own forces directly to where we need them.
I'm sorry, who is this?
You see a small rat. Sorry, I just... Oh my god. I'm sorry. The offhand introduction, Thad, incredible. Yeah, this is Squeak Noir. You see a small rat wearing a large brimmed hat with a feather, takes it off, no other clothes, a rapier at its side on a belt, takes off its hat and a low sweep. I am Squeak Noir.
Thor, recognizing potentially a aspect, offspring, descendant of Radagaskar, will return the bow.
It is a pleasure and an honor.
Tell us of your idea.
I think only a flying ship would keep us away from the dangers on the ground. And something large as what it is being currently held by the enemy. If we could somehow commander it, we might be able to bring our forces directly to the forge.
We can do that through this teleportation.
But no. The teleportation is a place that we could travel through, yes, with the airship. It is very large.
Large can be good.
And so the party has a dilemma. I'm going to say you have basically three kind of options. You have an option to... a little bit more. Yep.
As Thor is having this conversation with Tweak Noir, Harold pulls Jezebel for a moment.
Yeah.
And says, will soldiery fight at its side?
Well, we'd have to fight this eve, or tomorrow I would be concerned. Will they need to fight it by itself? I would think almost no. But you and your companions have earned quite a bit of trust and faith. Were you to lead? I believe the others among us have enough persuasive words to support whatever action you choose.
Harold raises his voice for a moment. Tweak Noir,
Yes.
casualty would suffer taking the air. I forgot my voice. Casual. Fuck, where is it? Tweak Noir. I understand where you're coming from, but the casualties we would incur taking the air. The gnomes can blast it out of the sky. I say be done with the damn.
Yes.
I would prefer to stay and see it done.
Very good. To make certain the enemy is down. This is an admirable objective.
I worry to leave the forge unguarded. I say we go to the...
Cool. I'm gonna step us out because we only have like 5 minutes left. So I just want to make really clear in terms of Koi's preparation for next week. My understanding, so please correct me, is that the party is going to go to the teleportation node and leave the forces defending the reactor to destroy the airship if it gets close. They will then travel themselves through the teleportation circle, and they are holding with the potential of calling reinforcements after they go through. You now have communicators, so you'll be able to communicate even if you go through and shut down the gate. But that's my understanding of the plan as it is. Is that correct?
Mhm.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And in that case, and with such a resolution, Arlie, give me the title of the last book you put away.
ancient flora and fauna and how to decorate your floor.
Is
With them.
the stutter in the title?
Yes.
Amazing. Ancient flora and fauna, colon, and how to arrange your floor? Decorate.
That's
Decorate your floor.
yes.
I love it. And that's the last book you put in? Oh, well. It's always much easier with someone else. Bye! And you're back, and you wake up curled up in Elric's tail. That's where we're going to end it for today. Thank you, everyone, for coming back. That was an awesome return session. We had to cover a lot of what's going on. What are we doing next? We have Kevin, the fight guy, with us. Thank you so much, bringing Thor, God of Thunder. It shouldn't be much of a surprise to everyone that with Kevin, the fight guy, and the God of Thunder, we can prepare for a little bit of combat next week. So, until then, thank you all. This show wouldn't be anything without you because you are Legion. And a little round of applause and a thank you while I look over to the screen and log us out. Bye.